Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly. Welcome to the game room. I'm so happy to have you here. Today I want to go over my 15 newest game pickups that I have. Some of these are gifts that I received for Christmas and some are things I picked up myself. There's some good deals in here. I can't believe it. You never find good deals anymore, but I had a few lucky moments over the last month or so and I just wanted to share them with you. So sit back and let's dive right into these. This first game I've been looking for a long time. And many of you don't know this, but if you're a fan of the NES like I am, there's a great game on that system called The Guardian Legend. And little do people know that that's actually the sequel to this game, and that game is Gartic on the MSX computer from, Compile 1986. You see that there? Boom. That was bad. I clicked wrong. There we go. 1986. This is a really cool game. I was looking for this game for a long time, like I said, and I only ever saw it come up on eBay like one time, and it went for $250. That's kind of the going rate, and I just never saw it again, and I was kind of willing to pay that amount for it. So when it popped up on eBay in a bundle for like $100, I bid on it and I was sure it was going to go for way more, but nobody else bid on it. And I won the auction. I won the auction for $100. And that included shipping all the way from Egypt. All the way from Egypt. So in there was Gartic, which is, we don't know how much it's worth. Maybe $100, maybe $250. But it also included Arkanoid on the MSX computer. And I was sure like this was worth nothing. I thought this was just going to be a throw-in. Turns out this game is worth like over $200. So I got potentially $450 worth of games for like $100, which is like the best deal I've gotten in years. So really happy to have these. I don't know how Arkanoid's going to play on the MSX computer. It does have a controller, but I feel like Arkanoid should be played with like a spinning kind of paddle controller. Anyway. Let me know. Have you played Arkanoid on the MSX? Gartic's interesting though. I can't wait to do a review of that. This next one was a game that I played at the arcade, I think when I was little and had vague memories of it, but I couldn't remember what it was called. So I did some research to find out that it actually had a port on the Super Nintendo, which is not a super expensive game, but kind of expensive. But the Japanese version of it, the Super Famicom version, was a lot cheaper and is basically exactly the same game. So I decided to get that version instead, and it went for about $45 or $50. But I was able to grab a copy off eBay with the manual shipped for $25 total. And that is, what is it called again? Magic Sword. That's right. It's called Magic Sword. It's kind of like it's a beat 'em up, I believe. I think there's some RPG elements to this, but I can't remember. I remember having a bunch of interesting characters, but it's been a long time. It's been over 20 years since I played this. Let me know if you guys are familiar with this one. This is from our buddies over at Red Art Games. This is one of those like modern games that's a take on a Game Boy game, and it's called Space Wing War. Came in a nice little slip cover. I'll let you see what the graphics look like on the back, but you know, very, very retro. But like I said, I buy every shmup that comes out physically if I know about it. I usually do, but this one I was looking forward to getting. If you've watched my most recent PS4 collections video, I mentioned that I signed up for Twitter just to harass Yacht Club Games back in the day because I wanted them to release Shovel Knight physically. And I told them if they released Shovel Knight physically, I would buy it on every console that they released it on at launch. And they released it on the PS4, the Wii U, and the 3DS. Anyway, I bought all three versions of it. Over time, they've been releasing free DLC for it, which has been like amazing. They've expanded the game like an order of magnitude beyond what it was when it originally released. And I believe those DLCs are all free if you own any of those other versions. However, they are not on disc. And so I waited till they released the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on the Switch so I could play all that DLC and have it on the cart. And I got this from my mother-in-law for Christmas. It was nice for her to get this for me. I'm very thankful. But Shovel Knight's a fantastic 2D side-scrolling game. It's one of the best I've ever played, and I think this is probably the best way to play it. They also have this version on the PS4 and maybe even the Xbox One, but I wanted to get the Switch version of it. I think it might be fun to play it on the go. This game was not on my radar until it released, and it came out shortly before Christmas, and it ended up being like the game I was most looking forward to play of the whole year, over like God of War, Bayonetta, any of that. And it was the Atari 50th anniversary celebration, and I like old Atari stuff. It was a little bit before my time, but I did play it a lot when I was little. My friends had Ataris, 2600s, and I bought the Atari consoles as they've come out, and I had the Jaguar when it was new. Like, I was the only guy that had one. So I really like Atari stuff. But this is not only like a compilation of interesting games, but there's all this additional content of videos and interviews with the developers of the games, and it's really like exploring a museum. And so I'm really excited for this one. I will say this though, I'm not sure how I'm going to work this into the random backlog system I have, because usually when I have like compilations like this, it's these, it'll be 30 games or something, and I'll count the game as one game subdivided into 30 different entries on my backlog spreadsheet, and I'll just pick one, or one will get picked, and I'll wipe it off, and I will have finished 1/30th of a game. But this one really needs to be played like from beginning to end. You're kind of like reading a timeline of history of Atari stuff, and along the way it lets you play the landmark games that happened during that. So like when you get to 1982, like it'll mention Pitfall. I don't know if Pitfall's on here, probably not because it's an Activision game, but you'll play that. And you really need to play it in that order. So I think what I'm gonna do, and this will be like an exception, but I don't know of any other way to do it, and I think this will give me the most fun, is that I'm just going to play this when it gets picked. This will get picked randomly. When this gets picked, I think I'm just going to play it all the way through, beginning to end. And any game in here that I experience, that I own a physical copy of, I'm going to count that as being knocked off the backlog. So like, I'm trying to think of a game, we'll just say, like there's an Atari 2600 game, and I play it on this, it will delete it from my backlog if I own the physical one. So this might knock like 30 or 40 games off my backlog playing it, which would be really cool. And I think I might do like a little individual review of all of them. I might just do like a review of this where I go over every game. We'll just have to see. It's complicated, but I'm looking forward to this a lot. Sorry, they got a little wordy and verbose. I apologize. I don't know what else to say, man. I find that stuff really interesting. I hope you guys do too. This is a sequel to a spin-off of a series I've grown to love over the last year or 2 years. That's the Yakuza series. The Judgment series is a spin-off where you play as like the good guys, the cops. The Yakuza series you're playing as criminals, organized crime criminals. But that's Judgment, and this is Lost Judgment. I haven't played the first Judgment game. My wife went ahead and picked this up. I have to say, I have a spreadsheet of all like my wish list of the games I want, and it's split into like retro stuff that you have to get off eBay or find at conventions or whatever, and then modern games that you can just go buy on Amazon or at GameStop or whatever. And my wife usually picks something from the modern games list because she doesn't know like how to buy something good off eBay or if it's a counterfeit or whatever. But she can go, on Amazon and buy this, like, and it's fine. But that list is like dwindling. It's getting really thin. There's not a lot of new games coming out that interest me, that make it onto the wish list, surprisingly. And so my like high priority wish list of like, this is the stuff I really want, she basically bought me every game from it for Christmas and only had a handful of games. There's just a couple left. So I don't know what to do. I'm gonna guess I have to start moving up some games I'm only kind of interested in, just so I have Christmas fodder and birthday fodder for my family to buy for me, because I gotta give them like, a clue of what I want, and they want to help with the collection. So, but anyway, that's all I'd say to say that this is like, it's like a 3D sandbox game, I believe, like all the Yakuza games, but you play as the good guys. I hope the humor isn't gone from this. Like, that's one of the best things about the Yakuza games. So Looking forward to this one. It'll be a while till I get to it, though, I'm sure. Sorry, my mustache looks so bad. Ooh. Oh. Sorry about that, guys. I played this first game on the Xbox 360, and it was my favorite games on the system. I platinumed it. I was one of the first people in the United States to, platinum. I got 1,000 gamer score. I got all the achievements. I was one of the first people in the United States to do that, which was really surprising to me. And cool. I played the second game on the Wii U and really enjoyed it, but I don't remember liking it as much as the first game. And this third one has come out. We waited for it a long time, but there was some controversy behind it, and whatever you want to say about that. The voice actress who did Bayonetta. Anyway, I gave it away. It's Bayonetta 3. I'm looking forward to this. I kind of wish that this had been released on the PS5. I feel like this might not be so great on the Switch because the system's getting kind of older, and they're going to be pushing the hardware limits with this game. But I've heard some mixed reviews about this. I've heard some people say they really, really like it, and I've heard some people say it's just has a lot of filler in it and that the action is cut down. I don't mind the filler. I like the spectacle of these games. So if you're just watching cool cutscenes instead of fighting, that's cool too. But anyway, I'm looking forward to trying this out. I do like Bayonetta, and I'm a big fan of the series. Everybody got this year. This is like everybody's Game of the Year, run-up Game of the Year, and it's God of War Ragnarok. I loved the first God of War on the PS4, or the first in the reboot of God of War, where it went to the Viking Norse mythology as opposed to the Greek mythology. I loved that game. It was like a 10 out of 10 game. I'm sure this is going to be a 10 out of 10 game, and this will probably be a gold star game. I'll explain it again. I play all my games randomly. If I beat enough games and finish enough games, I earn a gold star, and I'll let myself pick what I want to play. And so those are hard to come by, and I've reserved those for games that I really want to play, and I think that this might be one. And I don't want this to sit on the backlog for 9 years. So I want to get to this one sooner than later. This was Game of the Year last year on the PS5. A lot of people loved this. I've kind of forgotten what it's about. I think Arcane Studios does this, and thus far Arcane Studios has not ever impressed me. They did the Dishonored games, and they did what was it, Prey, the reboot of Prey. I didn't really like any of those games. It just doesn't suit me well, but it's Deathloop. Maybe this one's sweet and awesome and fantastic. Who knows? It seems like a really cool idea. I've heard though that this is buggy, you need to download a patch or the game can be unplayable. I don't know. I was kind of waiting for a Game of the Year edition with the patches on disc, but I don't think it'll ever come out. It's already been a year. So anyway, picked this up at GameStop for $15. It was $20, and then I had my $5 monthly coupon that I used on it. So I'll get around to this. It looks fun. This one is from VGNY Soft, Video Games of New York Soft. It's a physical store in New York, but they publish their own games. That's really cool. And they've released a bunch of shmups recently, and I've been picking those up, but it's Galactic Wars EX. And of course, this is just a generic looking shmup, shoot 'em up, as you can see. I love these games. Like I said, I pick them all up. Oh man, come on. There we go. I picked them all up. This one looks fun. I didn't do much research. I see shmup and I click buy or pre-order. So that's one of these, but it looks pretty cool. My number is 144. So this is the 144th. You can see it right here. 144th copy of the game that they printed. That's pretty cool. That's a low number. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. East Asia Soft did it, so they can be hit or miss, but they do put out a lot of shmups and publish a lot. So maybe it'll be pretty good. People have been raving about this game. A good friend of mine says that it's super awesome and that I have to pick it up. So I did. He got the Switch version. I got the PS5 version. It's a 1-bit side-scrolling kind of Metroidvania game, I think. Yeah, it says it's Metroidvania. And that's Astronite. Radical Reggie said he really liked this. So looking forward to it. I wanted to grab it on the PS5, but it looks sweet, Looks like a great game. Here, I'll show the back of the box. People were saying they like that. You kind of see what the game looks like. 1-bit, black, white, 2 colors. But lots of fun out here. This is not a game, but I thought I would throw it in. Strictly Limited sent this out to all their loyal customers for free. It just showed up. And that's the Strictly Limited 5th anniversary release book. That's cool. Thanks, guys. It's got documentation of all the releases they've done over the last 5 years, which is really cool. I'm looking at this and realizing how many games I just like didn't get. But it's pretty cool. I like this. Stuff like this goes a long way to building brand loyalty. And this thing's hefty. I mean, it's, you know, it weighs, I don't know, man, maybe 8 or 9 ounces. It's pretty nice quality. Thanks, Strictly Limited, for sending this out. These were like a last minute pickup from a buddy. You heard me mention that I have a buddy that, you know, he needed a little bit of money. I try to help him out. I hear from this guy. He's a pretty big collector, but he often messages me and is like, hey, I need to get rid of some stuff for now. You know, you know how it is. But anyway, I always try to help him out, and I picked up 3 games from him here. This first one's a game that I rented it when I was a kid and like did not understand the concept of the game and could not figure out how to even beat the first level or even play the game. And now this style of game is more common and we all know how to play it. It's a rhythm game, but it's on the PlayStation 1 and it's Parappa the Rapper. Pretty cool. It has a little piece of tape here on it, but it's just sitting on the outside of the case. But it's a fun game. You know, you hit the inputs at the top of the screen at the right time. I didn't understand that. When this came out, I was like, I thought it was a fighting game or something. Like, I didn't know what to do. But I played Parappa the Rapper 2 on PS2 a few years ago, and it's really fun. And I like this series, and I really like the paper doll sort of cutout look of these games. Pick up from the same guy. This was a special reserve game, and I was kind of mildly interested in this, but I passed on it when it came out. However, I was happy to pick it up for my buddy, and that's Carrion. You play as like this grotesque squid monster thing that's in a lab, and it's you play the monster like trying to get revenge on everyone. And I think it's like a Metroidvania, right? Side-scrolling Metroidvania. That's cool, but I'm happy to have this. I'm looking forward to playing this. I usually pick up most strictly or special reserve game stuff, and this one I don't remember why I skipped out on it. I'm not sure. This is a strictly limited game, and I missed this both times it came out, and it's a shmup. And I was aching that I missed it because it's gotten kind of pricey, at least on the PS4. I don't know about this Switch version, which is the one I picked up here. But like I said, it's a shmup, and bummed I missed it. And I'm glad that my buddy had it and was willing to sell it to me. And that's Griffin Knight Epic. And this is the definitive edition. Usually shmups are like worse on the Switch than they are on the other consoles. There's more input delay. However, I think this one was like specifically made for the Switch. So if it's designed to run like poorly on the system, it's more tolerable than if it's like an arcade port that they ported over. Anyway, looking forward to playing this one. Thanks for selling it to me. I'm sure he's watching this video. But pretty cool. This is release number 41 from Strictly Limited Games. All right, guys, there's my pickups. I know there's been a lot of videos this week. As I'm filming this, like my 3rd video in my PS4 collection video series is dropping like right now. So if you haven't, go watch those. Thanks for all the support if you made it this far. We're closing in on 500 subscribers. I'm looking forward to it. I think we just passed 400, which is amazing. Thanks again. And thanks for joining me on this journey, and I can't wait to do it again next week. New videos every Saturday, sometimes in between that. But I'll catch you guys next time.